Hey, this is Dean Blandino, and upon further review, Subfacts with Matt and Mooney is an awesome podcast. The ruling on the field stands. Don't challenge me on this. Trust me. Check these guys out. It's hilarious. You got to check out some of their episodes. Forever in Cargo Shorts. They recast the Police Academy movies. They've got some really funny stuff. Please check these guys out. And I know I'm a rules expert. Don't argue with me. You'll get overturned. Check out Subfacts with Matt and Mooney.
Hello and welcome to Subfacts. I'm your host, Matt. I'm here with my partner in crime, Mooney. What's up, Mooney?
What's up, dude?
What's up with your boy?
Oh, dude, he basically what he did was he admitted on air he got it wrong by accident.
Yeah.
He had a hot mic and then I don't know if he said it after the mic came back on, but on the hot mic, he was like, whoops, like we got that wrong.
Yeah. Okay. Boom.
It was, if I'm not mistaken, it was XFL. He was doing like XFL stuff, so it wasn't in an NFL game.
Yeah, I just know I was checking like the headlines and I saw our boy Dean Blandino, and I'm like, oh, that's Mooney's boy.
Yeah, dude. But at least
it was like caught. It just said
he
like,
kind of owned up to it. He didn't really say anything bad.
Yeah.
Right. It's not like some of those hot mic moments where you say some.
Yeah, it was just complete clickbait. But for the fact that I saw our boy Dean Blandino,
still love that guy, man.
I was like, dude, we know what we're gonna be.
As much as I can love, I can love refs. You know how much.
Yeah.
Like I can't stand refs.
Yeah. Well, Dean's a solid dude. He seems like a good guy.
But I don't know if Dean's like a rules guy.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not like a ref who makes the call in the field. Yeah. He's a guy's like, was it the right call or not?
But he's the guy, and you're like a rules guy too. Like he's the guy, like I can't imagine playing Monopoly with you and him.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? It'd just be a nightmare. Or like Scrabble. It would be like, no, you can't do that. So
when I play Monopoly, I kind of adopt, like, I'm a house rules guy, right? I don't mind bending the rules as long as everyone plays by the same bending rules.
If everybody in the house. See, that's where I think Dean Blandino would be like, no, Parker Brothers wants you to play it like this.
Yeah, exactly.
House rules don't count.
Right. Like I'm a $500 for free parking. That's not in the rules.
Yeah. Yeah. Fair enough. It is in the rules.
Well, yeah, it should be in the rules, but we don't always get one.
I know, right? Yeah, I should highlight the fact that our boy Andy from creativeunderground.co.com came over and fixed all of our issues.
Yes, he did.
And so he definitely was clutch.
Dude, the latest reaction videos are lit, dude.
Yes, completely. So yeah, he's got us. The best is what I love about Andy is like I go in there, he comes over and I'm just like, I just need a quick fix. I just need whatever our thing is. I just need a patch. I need something like that. And he's working in phases. He's like, he was like, oh no, we can fix that. Like the confidence of like, that's already going to be fixed. Now let's work on phase 2 and phase 3.
Yeah.
You're
like, I don't need phase 2 and phase 3.
Yeah. He was like, this is where we need to go to get to the next level. So I'm like,
and the best part is he got me back on audio this week.
Yes.
Nice.
He got Brian back in audio.
And he had so many other ideas for future show stuff too.
Yeah, well, that was the thing is my head was like spinning afterwards, and I was just like blah, 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 and like telling my wife all kinds of stuff she did not care about whatsoever.
Right.
But like I was like, look, I can't talk to you. I need to buy something really quick off of Amazon, get a peripheral, which we'll incorporate pretty soon. But yeah, just look for all kinds of cool changes coming up because Andy from creativeunderground.co.com was on Fuego. But yes, more importantly, he got Brian back, so awesome. I do not have to read anymore, folks.
I can actually comment this week. It was so difficult last week. I was texting Mooney telling him that he wasn't reading my texts.
I ignored every one of your texts till after the show, and so yeah. Sorry, Brian.
Yeah, great. All right. So the warm up this week. First question: how often do you use a grill to cook food? Do you ever get in a mood where you don't want to make food unless you can do it on your grill? Raining outside or cold and can't grill? Let's order delivery.
I don't
have a grill, so I really can't answer the question.
Yeah, I have a grill, but I'll be honest with you, I get completely excited for it, like in the beginning, like springtime when the weather gets nice,
Yeah.
and then like 4th of July and stuff like that. But I don't get into a mode of like I have to grill because it's like the cleanup. It's the cleanup factor.
Yeah, the cleanup does
It's
suck
so
on
easy.
it.
So
Ugh.
well, you got a
I
bouge
have a
grill that
Weber.
probably
Not even that.
cleans
big.
itself.
No,
That-
you just turn it on and then heat it up, and then you use a brush and brush it off. And then you
that's-
clean it twice. You clean it out twice a season.
Yeah, but yours probably has some kind of
Doesn't.
space age
Yeah,
polymers on it that help the
yeah,
grill
you know he's
size.
got booze.
Yeah.
I grill
Space-
all the time. I'm
The Weber 1584 946
That
8000.
might be the name of this show. Space age polymers.
Was that your nickname back in college?
Yeah, back in college, there was a group of friends I used to hang out with.
The polymers.
Yeah.
That'd be a good
polymers.
band name. Space Age Polymers.
Oh, here come the polymers, everybody. Get away. And so,
That's
they're
actually
very
an awesome
slippery.
name for a band.
oh, there you go.
All right.
Boom.
No, I do love grilled food, but like I'm kind of like creature of habit and like the same thing. Like whenever someone grills, I love bringing over brats. So brats on a
They
grill
are
are
good.
like
Those
literally
are so good.
Yeah.
But cool.
Boom.
I grilled today for lunch, so there you go. All right.
there. Oh,
Way to go.
Mr. Booge
right,
didn't
awesome.
work.
Yep, exactly.
Stay on the
I'm
grill.
convinced he has like so much free
Yeah,
time.
totally. When was the last time you took a bath in a bathtub?
5 million years ago. Like I
Um,
mean, I was 4. I
I did it for medical reasons. I'm trying to think it like, have you ever take like an Epsom's bath?
No, never done
no
that.
have some salt bath. No.
Yeah, it's awesome. Like, so like if you have like a rash or something like that, you get like an Epsom salts bath, or if you have like a cut or something like that. I don't remember the specifics around it, but I recall having like something to where the doctor was like, "Oh, just take they call it like a sitz bath or something like that."
No, I don't. I loathe baths. It was probably 8 years. I was probably 7 or 8 years old.
Yeah, like I'm not a fan of it, and I feel stupid when I'm doing it. But once you're in there, you're kind of like, it's kind of comfortable.
I mean, I'm sure it's
Nah.
comfortable. Just the idea of sitting in your own like filthy water is
That's
gross.
exactly right.
Well-
and here's the thing: the hot water eventually becomes mild and
And
warm.
cold. Yeah, that's when I empty it and I refill it back up while I'm in it. So it basically like I'll keep a little bit of cold and then more hot, so it doesn't scorch me as it's filling back up. But I kind of keep it at a good temperature.
No, I'd rather be in a hot tub. The hot tub,
Yeah, but that's
that-
because that's
awesome.
sanitized, right?
Similar
It's got
concept.
chlorine
It's
and
the same
stuff in it,
thing.
and a filter.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
I
like he
guess.
said, it's chlorine, and you're just sitting there enjoying.
Not to mention, if you've been in a bathtub with another person, it's not a bad
That's-
situation.
Well, no, that makes it enjoyable.
Yeah. So,
But at my size, it's hard to get into a bathtub with another person.
yeah, no, I get you. But no, it's not something that I seek.
Can you? Why you couldn't get a picture of Cindy Starfall in a
No,
bathtub?
'cause
I know,
it was
right?
about a
Of all the
dude-
people in
the-
the
Zach
bathtub,
The question
Galifianakis?
was about a dude in a bathtub, and so that's why
Yeah.
I had to get a picture of a dude.
Yeah, but
in a bathtub.
I'm pretty sure we could have
we could have figured
we could have rolled the same way.
Yeah.
Next question. What is the best tasting potato chip?
Oh,
Well, I know how he's going to answer.
it's easy.
You're going to go classic Lay's, right?
Or Ruffles. They're in my mind. It depends on what I'm looking for. If I'm gonna eat a bunch of them as a snack watching a movie, Ruffles. If I want something with a sandwich, Lay's potato chips.
See, I need the Dean Blandino of the warm up to clarify something
All right.
here, because there's a picture of Doritos, which is not potato, which is more corn. Same with like Fritos would be
All
corn
right,
chip
all right.
as
I guess
well.
I meant chip, like a snack chip.
So that's what I wanted to clarify. So like snack chip, I would have to go Doritos because Doritos rock, or Fritos. I could both
You
of them.
would
Are,
choose Doritos over potato
like
chips?
I would
Which
put Doritos and regular nacho.
nacho
I'm not
cheese.
going Cool Ranch. It's stupid. So I'd
So
go.
I prefer Cool Ranch
I would
to
go, like,
nacho cheese.
that's just weird. It's a little bouge.
It is kind of booch, but I like both Doritos, but I'm going chips above Doritos any day.
But like I have Fritos and Doritos are like neck and neck. They're like twins, and it's just whoever's
regular Fritos.
Yeah, I like
regular Fritos, and I like the chili cheese ones too.
Those are the good ones.
No.
Chili cheese Fritos are the
just
best.
Regular Fritos. That's
but I do like regular.
No,
Fritos.
chili cheese Fritos are money.
Have you tried? So I have a picture of them up here on the top left. The jalapeno ranch ruffles.
No chance. I mean,
those are delicious.
They are awesome.
They are one of the best chips on the planet.
Really,
I agree.
No chance I'm eating.
I'll tell you what. You know what the flavored Fritos are good in? Like burritos. Like you crush them up a little bit and then you put them in burritos. Delicious.
Fair enough.
I've had
done
I've
that,
had a burrito. There's a California Taco or something like that. I think is a chain.
Mm-hmm.
They have a burrito on their menu that has Fritos crunched up in it, and it was really good.
Taco Bell has them, and they're delicious.
You can't go wrong with just Fritos. Yeah. Awesome.
Good question.
Right.
Yeah. I don't typically like powdery chips. So, for instance, like Doritos is an exception, but like that's where like Fritos, when you start putting too much powder on it, it's like, nah, give me the original.
And Pringles, nah. Like I will only eat Pringles if forced. Like
I will eat a whole sleeve of sour cream and onion Pringles. Like,
and for the record, I'm going to call it right now. Next week's warm-up picture at the very end is going to be a guy with his hand stuck in the Pringles. I'm calling it right now. I know how the mind of Brian works. He's not going to do it now that I said it. But
it does kind of. That's what annoys me about Pringles.
Mm-hmm.
Like same thing with you and like pistachios, whatever. I really hate that I have to like kind of dig for like the bottom.
You just
Pringle.
turn the can up and you put it to your mouth and you just like shake it. It comes right out in your mouth.
My favorite comedian.
I know, but it's why do I got to do that much work?
Yeah.
Why do they put them in a can?
Great.
My favorite comedian, Mitch Hedberg, R.I.P., had a whole bit about that, and he was basically saying it was originally a tennis ball company, but the rubber truck didn't show up, so they're like, we got a bunch of potatoes, let's just cut them up, and they just used the. It's a whole thing. He obviously does it way better than I do, so go back and check out Mitch Hedberg on Pringles.
Yeah, Pringles annoy me.
Yeah. Well, anyway, good stuff. Thank you for coming back to the party. Oh, hey,
there are my chicks. Love bites.
I still can't get over how ravenous their fans are. Like,
yeah.
It's not even like.
What is it, like 6K or 5K?
Oh, it's ridiculous. Like
the first one's at 10?
11. So then.
No, it's
so
12.
the funny thing.
It's 12.
12? Over 12 now. Okay. These people, like the comments that we get are just insane. And it's like, and the best is we were having, audio issues. We were also having video issues. And the funny thing is they're very supportive too.
Yeah.
Because they want you to like do well.
Yeah.
That they actually give you some of them are actually like, no, if you put the setting at this level, then this will be better.
Like optimal enjoyment of Love Bites.
Yeah, they try to help out, but then what I noticed was Andy came over and fixed everything, so we put out a new one and everything looks great, right? Somebody saw the new one, went to the old one's comment where somebody trashed it and was like, "Hey, they fixed it. Check it out." And they put a link in, and I was like, "Way to go, Love Bites!"
That's awesome.
And then I saw like in another comment on the latest video, some guy was like, "Oh, the audio is terrible, and this one too." And a bunch of the fans like attacked that guy and were like, "No, wasn't that, you're crazy. They fixed all the problems. This is a great video."
The Wolfpack is representing.
Maybe you're gonna kick that guy out and get us in.
Yeah, like the Wolfpack is representing. And what I'm loving about these reactions is we are learning what the fan clubs are called in each band.
Yeah.
And so I think that's so much fun. Like the Wolfpack is, all I got to say is that's the craziest fan base I think I've ever seen.
And fans out there, you have to check out the reaction video with Matt's best pause.
That was
ever.
A great pause.
Yes.
That was in the love.
So
I've never seen a pause as good as that one.
Baby Metal.
And the funny thing is, it was Baby Metal, and a lot of people kept commenting on how great the pause was. And every step of the way, I'm like, I wish I could claim it, but I had no idea.
You didn't know.
I didn't even know she was going to be catching a fly.
Right. You were looking at me, pause, and I was like, what?
So it is literally the greatest pause ever, folks. So if you haven't seen it, check out the Baby Metal video that we did, and you'll see the perfect pause.
Yeah.
And so the song is called Karate, just in case you hear this late, and we have another Baby Metal reaction up there later on. So it's the Karate one. So anyway, we've been having fun with the the reactions.
They've been fun.
They've been fun, and so hopefully we get some new listeners. We've definitely gotten some new listeners on this show because of them. So welcome aboard, new listeners, and hopefully you enjoy the rest of the show.
Sorry, I'm not wearing a visor. I usually wear a visor, but
yes. So
I'm gonna have to go down before we do our
So we're not gonna do mailbag today, but I did get a little text from Ben from KStreetPhotographyDC.com over the weekend, and he basically said that the Grandma Shirley stuff just killed him, and how he just died laughing with the Grandma Shirley stuff.
Sure.
So I'm here to tell you, it gets a little worse, little crazy. So
more Grandma Shirley stuff.
So Grandma Shirley, as you know, I mentioned last week, she
Yeah.
passed away, and that's my wife's grandmother. And so I didn't know, like when you don't know what the funeral plans are,
Right.
you don't know how, because some funerals it takes a month to get, just depending on whatever the situation is. And so in this case, my wife was going to go up by herself. And so then I was kind of like, what's the right thing? I did the whole I'll
be there to comfort you.
I'm there for you. Let's,
right. So you went with her.
We can do this. And so the boy and I decided to go with her just to do the right thing. So we go up on Sunday evening, had a decent time. So at the funeral, we go to the viewing, and I meet my wife's uncles for the first time.
Okay.
And one of the uncles had his kids there, and one of the
Uncle
kids,
Shaky.
no need to bring up names, but anyway, so we get introduced, and one of his kids is an attractive blonde girl who's engaged. So you could age-wise, she's early 20s or whatever.
Okay.
So we do the introduction, and all of a sudden, we get in the car, and the boy goes, "So, who was the blonde girl?"
Nice.
And so my wife goes, "That's your cousin. It's a cousin, or a cousin, right?" And he goes, "How far removed do you need to be to date a cousin?"
Third, fourth.
And I was like, "What?" And I go, "Well, for starters, she's got a dude next to her that put a big ring on her finger.
Yeah.
Pretty sure you don't stand a chance, son."
No, he doesn't stand a chance.
But anyway, I'm like, I think it has to be past the second. You can't go.
Yes, that's why I said third or fourth.
Yeah. I don't think. Definitely not first. Second.
Definitely not second.
Second is pretty bad, borderline. Depending on I know the royal families and stuff back in the day used to do that kind of stuff, but I don't know what point you get.
I don't think there's any gray.
I don't know when
first or second, but I think the gray starts to come in the third.
Yeah, I don't know when the birth effects kick in. You know what I mean? There's a genetic issue if it's obviously brother and sister. Then it's I think first cousins get into that. I think second cousins you might be able to slide, but it's a
yeah. Well, I think you can even. Yeah, I think second you're safe, but it's not worth the risk.
But yeah, morality wise, it's got to be at least third. But quite frankly, I think if anybody in my life, even if they were just ridiculously hot and they wanted me, and they were like, "Hey, but we're fourth cousins or whatever," I'd be like, it's still weird.
Yeah,
it's still a little weird.
But if they don't see, here's the thing though, you don't know who's a third or fourth cousin.
Now, could I hook up with a fourth cousin, knowing that there's never going to be anything out of it? Why not? When in Rome.
But here's the thing, though. Sometimes you don't even know, if you're a third or fourth cousin.
Yeah.
That's how far it gets removed.
That actually happened to my wife, when she was in, I think it was high school or college. She met some dude, went out with the dude, just one date. They went back to his house because that's how she rolls. I'm just kidding. And so gets to the house and she sees family pictures and was like, "Hey, how do you know Aunt how do you know Aunt Marge?" And he's like, oh, that's my mom, or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh,
Yeah, exactly.
No, because that does happen, and I can see.
I mean, think about
obviously,
it. I mean,
folks, the relationship did not happen after that.
I mean, if you think about it, you have brothers and sisters that say they live within a half hour or an hour from you, right? And then they have kids, and then those whatever. The third is easily doable if the family stays close in the same 20 or 30-minute vicinity. They see each other at bars or parties or whatever, and you're like, okay, well,
this is what's weird. They're all in like central Pennsylvania. It's small little towns, but yet they don't seem to ever know each other, which is odd.
Oh yeah. So I mean, how close is the family? That type of thing at all.
So then we get to another caveat that happened at the Grandma Shirley funeral. So we end up going to the funeral, like you go to the actual where where they bury the person, and it happened to be like my wife's family like funeral place. It was like
your wife's family, okay.
Whatever it was all like the wife's family. So after they did the ceremony or whatever, we go over and we look at, her dad passed away a couple years ago. So we went to his, gravestone. And then you see some other people all with the same last name. Then once we're in the car, she comes back and she goes, I think I might be inbred. I'm like, what? And she was like, well, there was a lot of headstones with my mom's maiden name. Like, in the same family, like graveyard. And I'm like, what? And she was like, well, it's like a small town. And I'm like, you're telling me now you might be inbred? and so I'm like,
why didn't this come out sooner?
So get this. We've been in central Pennsylvania for less than 24 hours.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, my son wants to date his cousin. My wife is now inbred. I'm like,
what happened?
What the hell?
How did this?
And so, literally, she ended up. I know, right? She did. She talked to her uncles, and her uncles were confirmed that she is not inbred.
That's good.
It's just that it's more of a common last name, and so
in that area,
right? And that it's definitely not. But my wife, for a brief moment, was thinking that she was actually inbred, somehow, like, kissing cousins. You're and
like,
everything.
What in
I'm
the
like, dude,
world?
We haven't been here 24 hours.
Yeah, how does that happen?
And all of a sudden, the boy wants to date his cousin, and my wife's inbred.
How many cousins?
And then I thought about it. I'm like, if they confirmed like that she was inbred, do I win every argument going forward in life? Like, I almost, in a weird sort of way, like she did confirm with them that she wasn't, but part of me was like, that would be kind of dope if she was, because then I would win every argument. Literally, for the rest of our lives together, I would just be like, well, you are kind of inbred. You might not know, like, what I'm telling you is the correct thing. You might not know because you might be inbred. But she's not. She's clearly not.
You're like, this is for people who aren't inbred.
Yeah. It would be like, I can pull my gene pool and realize that I'm not inbred, but
You do it like Wildfire. Inbred. Hold on.
But it would be like, you didn't understand this. I'll explain it to you later. That kind of
when you get out of a movie.
It's like, how quickly would I have gotten punched?
By the way, you're crazy. John Wick is awesome. There's nothing wrong with it.
You're crazy because we have segments on the show where we might actually talk about that stuff.
Okay, good.
So anyway, I do want to say we did make it back successfully, and nice funeral, all that good stuff. But I just wanted to highlight the fact that my family.
Has the boy reached out to the cousin yet, or
no? No. Well, I think she might be a little too old for him.
On her on like Instagram and Facebook.
He could be. I don't know at this point.
Did he go up to her while you guys weren't looking? Hit me up on the gram.
Yeah, I know, right? And so, but it was just like, hey, we may be cousins.
What fancy meeting you here?
I may be 12 years younger than you, but still, just because there's a goalie in the net doesn't mean you can't score,
Jesus.
So, So anyway, we survived. But that was it. And RIP Grandma Shirley. She was a good egg.
Yeah. Good egg.
So, anyway, and with that being said, so I wasn't going to do a John Wick for review, but you decided to tell us anyway. No, I'm just kidding. It's literally on the docket.
Oh, okay, good. I'm like, what?
So as you guys know, John Wick 4 came out this past Friday, and I will tell you this: BK went to see it Friday night, and basically like texted me like, "Dude, did you see it yet? Did you see it? Did you see it?" I'm like, "Dude, I'm going on Saturday.
Yeah."
Chill." And he's like, "Call me immediately after you get out of the theater." And I was like, "Okay." He goes, "I'm not going to spoil anything for you. I just want to see if you had the same thoughts."
Right.
And so, and I don't know that we should give complete spoilers because I know you saw
no
it too.
spoilers.
Brian didn't see it yet, so
No spoilers. We'll give some general.
Yes, and I will say this: I thoroughly enjoyed it, but this is actually BK's kind of review too. Thoroughly enjoyed it, but it was way too long. It was long.
No,
I felt it was really long.
No, definitely not long at all.
Because I think my problem I'll use the Matrix as an example.
Matrix are long.
Yeah,
not John Wick.
You know when in the Matrix, Neo's fighting all those what is Agent Smith? At some point, you kind of like, okay, I get it. You fought, but when the scenes go on too long, and you're kind of like, okay, I get it. You're fighting a lot of people. It kind of. Unfortunately, I think for me, it took away from the movie where I loved every scene, right? But what I would have done is clipped every scene. So I would have, by the end of it, I probably would have lost maybe a half hour of movie. But because there's a lot of, don't get me, it sounds bad by saying there's a lot of like fighting because that's what you go to see.
You absolutely go to see it for that.
At some point, it becomes a little bit like, okay,
the runtime is 2 hours and 49 minutes. That's a pretty long movie.
And when you sit in the movie theater, they do a half hour of trailers ahead of time.
Here's the thing. You do have to sit through it because there is an end credit scene, but 15 minutes of that is credits. Yeah. It's a long credits.
Yeah.
Very long. And they have like the Japan crew, the Paris crew.
Because he fights a billion people and they have to put them all in the movie.
That's my point. My point is you can tell the exact. I wouldn't change the scenes. I wouldn't change any of the storyline. Everything was great.
Then I have a big problem with what you're saying. Huge. Why go see John Wick? That's what it is. 2 and 3 are the same as number 1.
How many random schlubs just get out of their car and try to attack him?
But that's what you go for.
I know. Once you get through 10, you're fine. You're like, okay, let's move to the next scene.
But none of
it doesn't need to be 100.
But they all been 100. Like they all, except for the first one where he attacks a set group of individuals. Mm-hmm. Like the people who attacked his car, he's got markers on him and all the others. So all these people are coming after him.
Yeah, I just think it got a little long. That's all. That's my only critique. Other than that, I loved it. I loved the way it ended. I loved the characters. I loved the storyline. I'm 100% in on it. But
it's fantastic start to finish. There's maybe one like implausible scene in an implausible movie. So like. I always say, like, if you're going to watch a movie like Die Hard or John Wick or anything like that, you have to understand unbelievable stuff's going to happen because it's an unbelievable movie. There is a time sequence in there that upsets me. And other than that, the movie is fantastic, phenomenal. It delivers on every level that you want it to.
Yeah, and I will also say another thing that I think BK might have brought up.
And the Asian chick is hot.
That is true. There's one thing that I think it was BK that brought it up, that and he didn't necessarily like it, but I actually do, and I think it's fine, is John Wick is famous for having these just like crazy sets where it's like, techno music's blaring and people are dancing.
Oh, yes.
And there's a lot of like fighting going on, but these people are oblivious to it. Like if there was fighting in like a real club, most people would be like, stop, the music would stop, and yet everybody's like dancing around like techno wise while there's like shootings going on.
Yeah, shooting and beating. Yeah.
It's one of those things that's where, to your point, you have to suspend disbelief because you're like, it just looks cool. I think that's really,
I think visually that scene is incredible.
Yeah,
with the dancing. I mean, because they do a lot. Oh, and it's not going to wreck it. In this movie, I don't think they've done it yet, but they do something they haven't done in Wick, I don't think, where they do like a sky cam.
Yes, that was
run
cool,
over the fighting, and it's awesome.
It is cool,
and you'll see what I mean when you see the movie. But so it's not like a 45-degree view. It's like a what do you call it? A straight 90-degree view of the fighting. It's like you're playing a video game. Like Zelda, like the first Zelda, where you're controlling the character.
Tell me if I'm wrong, but isn't John Wick based off a video game or no?
No, I don't know.
It is
or
not.
comic
No.
book? Not a comic book either? Okay. Because it felt very much like a video game comic book.
Yeah.
You know, but like I said, every John Wick does that, like where they'll shoot somebody in the face and it's more of a flashbang and there's no real blood, but it's like that kind of stuff. You kind of have to go into it and suspending disbelief. And if you do that, you'll enjoy it a lot more.
I just want to know where I can get a suit that blocks bullets and like prevents you from feeling any pain from falling 500 feet.
Yeah. Like that's part of, that's obviously part of the game.
That's not a ruining anything. Cause by the way, that's in 1, 2.
That's in every one of the movies, but that's part of the gimmick and that's where it's kind of fun. But, you know, like I said, there's a big fat dude who goes toe to toe and you're like, a big fat dude is not going toe to toe. You've told me this with Clint Eastwood last week.
Yeah.
There's no way a big fat dude's going to give John Wick any trouble.
None.
And so, you know, like I said, there's a lot of suspending disbelief. But anyway, it's still a great movie. If you love John Wick, if you love all the other ones, you're going to love it. For me, ranking it, and you can give your ranking later or right after, I rank, in my opinion, 1, 2, 4, and then 3.
My same ranking.
Oh, boom. There you go.
Same ranking.
Awesome.
I would want to put 4 above 2, but I can't because of the sanctity of why 2 happens.
Mm-hmm.
So 2 is where he gets that marker pulled on him.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason why I'm going to put 2, because if you see the first, okay. So in John Wick, basically he comes out of retirement on his own because they messed with his car, they messed with his dog, and he's like, I'm going to kill you all. That's just the way it's going to happen. Yeah. I'm out of retirement. Bam. See ya. Mm-hmm. In the second one, he's like, okay, I'm going to go back to retiring. But then the guy pulls the marker on him, and now he has to do what that guy did. Yeah. So now I'm sitting there going, that's why 2 is better, because of the sanctity of the franchise.
And all I could think about was our comments on the show over the years is like the guy's the Baba Yaga. There's like a however $1 million bounty on him, right? If you're just a random cab driver by day, you're not the guy to get out of your
stop.
You're not going to get the money. You're just not. You're going to get dead. That's what's going to happen to you. Is you're going to get dead. You don't stand a chance.
Right. Like if you are not a millionaire already, who's already collected hundreds of thousands or millions from killing other people that were marked, you're not killing him.
You have no chance. So don't get out of your car. Just be like, I'm going to sit this one out.
It's like you started doing the reaction videos and learning more about YouTube. There's no harm.
Yeah.
Jay Wick's not going to kill you.
No.
But you don't go, hey, Mooney, I was thinking about maybe
being an assassin.
Hey, why don't we try being an assassin? We could win, we could get a lot of money. I'd be like, no, we're not killing anybody.
No, we would be the worst assassins ever.
Yeah.
We would be Fat Wick. It would be terrible. We'd be awful.
Fat Wicks.
And so anyway, I think it's a good review for those who haven't seen it, even though you should have listened to us last week and saw it this past week.
Yeah, by the way, Brian, unacceptable.
I went to a funeral and still saw it. I just want that on record.
I'm completely very upset with you. Unacceptable. How do you not see it in a week?
My family doesn't care about John Wick.
And
I don't go to movies by myself.
Wow.
What? Oh, boosh. I forgot.
Boosh.
Never mind. You're excused.
He could have paid for somebody to sit next to him just to like.
I go to by the way, I love movies by myself.
I actually kind of enjoy it. Not gonna lie, it's kind of
you know why? Because I don't have to. And people, I don't get anyone talking to me during it or asking me questions.
You just get to embrace it.
And I go, okay, I love
it. I don't think I've ever gone to. It's been a long time, long time.
You watch TV by yourself?
But I'm in my house.
Same thing.
Does anybody care? Like, have you ever been to a movie theater where somebody's by themselves, where people just go,
I think like that dude's
that
weird.
Guy's
like,
by himself.
What's that weirdo doing?
No, but you've never seen anybody get accosted for being by themselves.
I don't know. I find the movie part of the movie going experience is
you want to
going
look over at
people,
your loved smile.
It's the community aspect.
Like when you
I want to watch a movie alone, I'll watch it at home.
Okay. Fair enough.
Well, then you miss out, and that's the problem.
And you know me, I'm not a movie-going person anymore, but that one I kind of had to make an exception.
Yeah, you had to.
So what I'm not going to make an exception for is this week, the big movie coming out is Dungeons & Dragons with your boy Chris Pine.
Vomit.
They're trying to sell it as like a quirky comedy in a weird sort of way. But the title is Dungeons & Dragons.
Yeah, and Chris Pine went from like Star Trek it guy, like the next.
He's made some bad career moves.
You are Captain Kirk, and now you're in Dungeons and Dragons playing like with Michelle Rodriguez.
He was in the Wonder Woman movies. I mean, he's done some.
But he wasn't the main guy, really. It's kind of like he
was the goof part, right?
And like the thing is, anybody could have played that role. It wasn't a Chris Pine specific. Right. Like if you're going to highlight his career, you're not going to go, oh, but he was in Wonder Woman.
But he starts off, he has some good movies, and then he does this.
You know the movie's bad if Amazon Prime is giving away a free ticket to every Amazon Prime account holder.
Like I said, the advertising is trying so hard to get people to go, oh, well, maybe it's a comedy and maybe it'll be funny. And it's like, no, your title is Dungeons and Dragons. It's going to cater to one group of people, nerds. That's literally
big nerds.
So it was terrible. Like, now keep in mind,
awful movie title.
If a bunch of people come back and say, man, I actually saw it and it actually really was hilarious, and they goof on the nerds and stuff like that, then I might check it out when it's streaming somewhere. But
just call it something different. You have a better chance.
Yeah, like I have no desire to see it. It just looks awful, and I can't believe that's the big movie this week.
Yeah.
But you guys can stay at home because on Apple TV, the Tetris movie comes out.
I do want to see that.
That looks fantastic because you learn that there's this whole like Russian involvement with the creation of Tetris and getting Tetris over to Nintendo. It's a whole big thing. It looks awesome. I love Tetris.
I do want to see that.
And I was never good at Tetris, but I did dig it on my Game Boy.
I could never get higher than like 150, 180. I think that was the highest.
You know what sucked for me?
I love Tetris.
I sucked at it.
Oh, were you?
What sucked for me was like I was broke, obviously, as a kid and everything. I saved up enough money to get a Game Boy because I was like, this is the coolest thing in the world. And then I couldn't afford any games, so I was stuck with Tetris. And it was like, I suck at Tetris. Like, I'm like, thank you for reminding me how bad I suck, Game Boy.
Yeah, I was, like I said, I did okay, but I mean, people were in the level 500 or 400. I was like, I'm not getting that high ever.
No, I would like occasionally get like for a little bit, but no, it was, but like I said, I couldn't afford any other games, and it was just like,
so like Metallica in your car.
Yeah, basically. So anyway, the Tetris movie looks good. It's coming out on Friday on Apple TV. Can't wait to see it. So
awesome,
good stuff. I'm rolling right into TV, and we didn't talk about it last week or the week before. Well, I think we talked about it the week before, but we didn't actually give reviews. Another one we've been Ted Lasso basically came out.
And how many episodes are there now? 3?
3 now as of today.
Okay.
I saw the first 2. I will say this: first episode's not that great. I think Brian agreed with me on that. Second episode is fantastic.
Oh, okay.
Brian lied to me and told me that the first couple episodes weren't good, and then my wife and I watched it the other night, and it was like Brian's on crack.
The second episode was just okay. Awesome. It wasn't great. The third episode that came out today, I thought was excellent.
So
okay, good.
yeah. So
All right, so I have some catching up.
yeah. So Ted Lasso, I'm still all in. The other thing is The Mandalorian. We haven't talked about it since the season started. And I hate Star Wars stuff. I really do. I don't like Obi-Wan Kenobi. I don't like any of that crap.
Rogue One.
Yeah. I don't watch any of it. And so, but The Mandalorian I actually do watch, and season 3 is solid. I'm loving it every step of the way. Is
that same thing? Is that they one episode at a time?
Yeah, and it's only, I think it's like 4 episodes in, I think.
5 just released today.
5 as of today. Okay, but I've been watching it and it's awesome. Like, why don't they, like, if they could make movies like Mandalorian, like, I would actually get into it more. Like, I don't know what Mandalorian does differently than the other ones.
I don't know either. Like, yeah,
but there's something more compelling.
I don't know how you don't like Star Wars, but you like Mandalorian.
There's something more compelling about it. Brian, can you, like, do you feel the same way, or is it just me?
No, it's not just you. It's definitely like the most popular thing that they've made in the Star Wars universe and since the original trilogy. It's
like there's something.
I think it's just because it's a story set in the Star Wars universe that's not like. I think everybody just kind of is just oversaturated with the whole Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader saga thing.
Yeah, I think that's what.
And all
there's not much.
This is new.
There's
it's new.
Lightsaber stuff. Like, there's lightsaber stuff, but it's not like all the time. You know what I mean? Like, there's actually storyline to it.
My problem is I don't have time to adapt a whole nother set of characters. Like, I already know all the characters in the Star Wars series.
Keep in mind, I'm still calling that thing Baby Yoda, even though it's not. So I'm like, oh, that's Boba Fett, even though it's not Boba Fett. I'm just
right. I know, and that's my problem. I don't want to learn.
You don't have to learn the whole new characters. You just go with the ones you like. You don't need to call them by their real name. I don't.
Yeah, but I can't call it Baby Yoda if it's not Baby Yoda.
It's Grogu.
You're not going to be like Baby Yoda.
Did you just hear Nerd Boy?
I know. It is Grogu, but I'm like Baby Yoda. That's what I'm.
Of course, he calls him by his name.
Yeah, but like, there's no real like.
Grogu is his name.
Yes.
Yeah, there's no.
But he's the same species as you.
Yeah, there's no like Darth Vader. There's no like there's an empire.
But how come he hasn't even got any taller?
Because their species grows very slowly.
That's how they do.
Like, how slow do they grow?
Well,
but he's got some bad powers too.
He's 50 years old at the time of the Mandalorian.
Which 50? That's the most obnoxious thing about the whole thing. I'll be honest with you. So he's 50 years old, right? And like, we're not even 50, and we're geniuses, and we're like ridiculously mobile and all that stuff. This dude is like 50 years old, and he's like an infant. So it's kind of like he's got powers and stuff, which is cool. But
he's going to live to be like 900 years old.
50. Would you want to spend 50 years like having people
Brian,
call you?
Made a point. Like, he's going to be 700, 800 years old.
Sure, but would you want to be 50 years old and have everybody call you a kid and be like, oh, like having to pick you up and stuff?
Right.
And no, dumb. But anyway, the show's great. I love it. Everybody should check it out.
How old was Yoda when he died?
He was 900.
900.
How do you know that so quick without Googling? That's ridiculous. That's
old.
Okay, then one last thing. You guys can be thankful for it, but I had the worst thing happen to me yesterday.
What?
So I have a ritual. Every Tuesday night, I get all excited, and I'm like, the boy goes to bed, the wife goes to bed.
Right.
I go right to the Discovery Channel, because I go to hone in on my 1,000-Pound Sisters episode, brand new episode.
That's on Discovery Channel?
Yeah, it's TLC, but they have all the above.
Oh.
And I click on the thing, whatever, and I scroll over. I'm like, where's the new episode? Where's the new episode?
They didn't have one.
No new episode. So then I Googled. I'm like, what the hell? Apparently last week was the finale. No one told me. So I have no 1,000-Pound Sisters for a full year.
That's awesome.
I was pissed because when you get all excited, you're like, you're in the zone. I had my drink ready
to
go.
Honey. Good night, son.
Yeah, and I'm like, what the hell? No 1,000-Pound Sisters. So you guys are saved for another year of not having to hear about 1,000-Pound Sisters.
You're going to talk about it at some point, many times.
Yeah, unless
you'll keep up on like their Instagram account or something.
Tammy's lost over 3 bills. Wow. So, it's crazy.
Watch out, Amy.
Anyway, I know Amy has not lost much. So, yeah, she's going to be the next one. But anyway, with that being said, should I just knock out backstage pass, or do you want to do your dugout in between?
I'll do the dugout.
Okay, then hold on 1 second. Brace your ears.
This is Cindy Starfall, and it's time for Mooney's Dugout. Love you, Mooney.
Bam.
Boom.
Love Cindy. All right. So some news this week. The NFL has officially allowed the wearing of the number 0.
I had no idea that was the thing.
Yeah, I didn't know either. But apparently they're going to allow the wearing of the number 0.
Did they say what the rationale was on why you couldn't use 0 before?
Well, remember, I don't know what the rationale was, but remember last year, I think it was last year, they started allowing the juxtaposition of the numbers, meaning like running backs could wear like 17.
You can wear 99 if you want. Yeah.
Yeah, linebackers could wear 3, right? It didn't matter anymore.
Yeah. I always thought that was stupid anyway.
Yeah, I didn't like the
just
number
be whatever
limits.
number you want to be.
It should be, yeah, exactly. So I think his name is Calvin Ridley. I think he's going to be the first to wear it this year. There may be others, but I do know, I'm almost positive Calvin Ridley has decided to wear 0.
Because he's a big Jason Tatum fan?
I guess.
Awesome.
I mean, I know that Warren Moon wore double. I think he wore 00 or.
Did he? Was it 00? I thought he was 14? Like 11. I thought he was
11.
I thought he was 11.
Well, I wanted
Brian,
to,
you might have.
Later in the years, did he wear 00? Something.
I could be wrong, but I know he had 2 numbers.
Or 11.
But I thought it was 11.
All right, here we go.
You had Grogu's age immediately, and you can't find it. What number Warren Moon?
He wore number 1.
Oh, 1.
Number
that
1.
was it. Okay, that was what threw me off. 1. He wore number 1.
Sorry, he's not Grogu.
Well, it was Yoda that I knew the age of. So,
Yoda. You had Grogu down too, 50.
I did. That's true.
They did. The NFL met it was the owners' meetings. They did shoot down the request for Thursday flex games. James Mara, he was the owner of the Giants. He shot it down. He was one of a few, but
and what is a Thursday flex game?
So you have a Sunday flex game. So let's say Sunday is
so where they can change the time of the
right. Change the 2 teams.
Yeah.
So right now, let's say they put in Cincinnati versus
Buffalo.
All right. And let's just say for some God's name, both teams are terrible next year.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll be like, oh my God, we can't show
for ratings,
13th to 14th week of the year, they're like, we got to get 2 better teams in. Mm-hmm. So they'll flex it out and put better teams in.
Yeah. Okay.
So the one owner's like, well, you don't understand our fans and whatever. And I get it from that perspective because they sometimes make plans months in advance or a year in advance. But they do, the flex would be at least 15 days. Mm-hmm. But that's but I can see it if you have planned, you're going to
if you're going to Lambeau Field or whatever because you've always
you're going
wanted
to Wisconsin and you're going on a Thursday night game and they flex it, you're like, F.
Yeah, that would suck. I'm not a big fan of that. It should and I get it ratings perspective, but come on. How many crap games have we seen on a Thursday night anyway?
A lot.
So it's kind of
that's their point. They didn't want.
Yeah. But the overall point is they've been doing it. You're still not the sport's still making money. So it's kind of
hand over fist. No problem.
Don't put the fans out if you don't have to. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, a team is going to be sold for $6 billion at least.
Yeah, but to a bad owner, though, in my opinion.
Really? I've heard people like him.
No, but look at his teams. He owns the 76ers and he owns the New Jersey Devils. Find me a good team in that group.
The Sixers are hot right now. They've been one of the best playoff teams the last few years.
But what I'm saying is, is he a guy who's spending money actively?
I've heard that he likes to make money a lot. It's a big. He's big into making money, but he does spend his money in the right places.
Okay, I'm just afraid that I guess my point is if Bezos were in, Bezos doesn't have any other teams, so he's going to focus solely on getting the one team better. If this guy is just a conglomerate, like Magic Johnson's, I know a part of it too, but
it sounds like there's.
If he just It just seems to me that it's going to be by the board. And I'll use my example, the Flyers, right? Ed Snyder, greatest owner of all time, was legitimately active and made called shots, right? But he didn't get in the way as like Snyder and stuff does, Dan Snyder. But then when Ed Snyder died, now it's like the board of Comcast that owns the Flyers.
Oh.
So it's kind of like, then you got to go, there's a really hot player out. We could get him, but then again, do we really want to spend the money? So there's always going to be an accountant that goes, yeah,
that sucks. Sometimes you get bad GMs and owners that don't spend money.
That's what I'm concerned about. And, other than that, I'm fine. Obviously, Dan needed to go.
Was it official?
No, it's not official.
Oh, I didn't think so.
But they matched the bid. So I think Dan priced it so high that he didn't think anybody was going to come to the table really quick.
Right.
And these guys were like, cash offer, boom.
$6 billion.
Yeah. So he can't. You can always turn something down, but really he called it out.
Why? I mean,
they called his bluff. Boom.
Apparently, he's like completely out of the organization. They're like in Europe. He's not. Ron, the coach, Ron Rivera said this morning in an interview, or today in an interview, somebody asked him like, "How's the preparation going for the season?" And he says this is the first time since he's been there in 4 years that they're able to build a roster. Meaning, like, it's the first time that they didn't have Dan Snyder and like meddling.
Yeah. So I'm obviously, as a fan of the team, I'm hoping for the best. I'm just a little suspect on like big groups. That's all I'm saying. And
Brian, you're a Ravens fan now, so
yeah, and that's totally functioning well
he jumps
at this point.
I bet he jumps back.
He will jump back.
Jump back.
Will you jump back?
I will jump back if things improve. Look like they're improving.
Jumper.
Flip-flopper.
I just couldn't give any more money and time to Dan Snyder.
He's bouge, but he's not a man of his convictions.
I have a conviction about this.
Okay,
you don't want to spend money on the Redskins. Okay,
though, as a Redskins fan, I will welcome you back wholeheartedly.
Thank you.
Oh,
we can go
I'm
to some
about ready
Commanders.
to run away from the Ravens after what's going on with Lamar. So
yeah, Lamar.
Oh God, that's it. Yeah, he's for him. Like, stop making it all about you.
That guy needed to get a agent like a year ago.
Right, like I'm gonna have my mom as my agent, and like I want fully guaranteed money. You're
Michael Jordan.
He had some business guy that he was working with, like calling around teams trying to make a deal, and the NFL had to tell everybody to stop dealing with that guy.
But when Michael Vick, all the bad stuff happened to Michael Vick, I was listening to the radio and somebody really smart, and they were talking about the downfall of Michael Vick is when he had, like, when he first came into the league, he was assigned to like the best agency in the world. He was assigned to the best accountants in the world, all of that. And then he made the decision to put like his cousin Ray or whatever as his accountant.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, once you put your own people in
that don't have your best interest,
that's when it's all downhill.
Yeah. And
so the fact that he's not, like, he could easily go to any agency and go, "Hey, would you work with me?" And he's not.
He's crazy. He's got a screw loose already.
Yeah. So he's definitely going downhill real fast.
Stupid.
Okay. Anyway.
The next up is the March Madness is now in the Elite Four. Sorry, the Final Four. So it went from Sweet 16 to the Final 8, and now it's coming to the Final Four this weekend. And your Final Four teams are University of Miami.
Boom.
With Jim Larrañaga.
That's my boy, GMU.
There you are. Versus UConn. So go Miami. And Florida Atlantic, who no one never even heard of.
I didn't know that was even a thing.
Exactly. They're playing San Diego State. So you have a 9 seed in the Final Four.
That's crazy.
And this is the first year. So trivia question for the future. This is I know you like to trivia.
Sure.
If you ever hear this, this is the first year ever a number 1 seed did not make the Elite 8.
Wow.
So no number 1
not
seeds.
A sub-fact.
No number 1 seeds in the Elite 8.
That's
never
awesome.
happened before.
Yeah, this is the one, like, I still haven't seen one game, and I probably still won't see another game, but if I were to watch, this would have been the one I probably should have watched because of all of the changes and the flips and stuff like that. So I do, in a weird sort of way, regret not getting tuned in this season.
And in the Final Four, there's not even a 1 seed or a 2 seed or a 3 seed.
That's crazy.
It's a 4, 2 5s, and a 9.
Mm-hmm. And no one has a bracket left, right? If I'm correct.
No, perfect brackets were busted. I think the second or third day.
So no one. Yeah. Okay. Good.
I
love to see the misery on those people, those bastards. I love it.
You actually, depending. So I had a group of 57 that I'm in my pool for my March Madness pool. There was 57 entries. If Miami loses and I believe UConn loses, none of the 57 people will have correctly picked the champion.
Wow.
Because all the champions teams are out.
Awesome.
So Florida Atlantic and San Diego State are not picked by anyone to win it all.
Yeah. Well, I got to go with my boy Jim Larinaga. That's who I'm rooting for.
That would be huge. This is his second time in the Final Four. If he makes the finals and wins it all, that would be huge.
That would be awesome. So hopefully Jim Larinaga, boom, GMU.
But this is the big question, though. He went from GMU, small school that no one really knows about, to Miami because of that Final Four trip with GMU. Now, if he wins the finals with Miami, does he go to a bigger name basketball school? Because Miami is not a big name basketball school.
Yeah, but he's old. He might call it a day.
He's not going to call it a day.
He might.
I'm telling you, schools like, Kentucky's already got like a bit, there. Same with North Carolina. But you'll have...
Like, he was old at George Mason. What I'm saying is he was old then. He's been in Miami for a decade at least, right? Because it was a while.
But my point is, teams like Purdue, like Big Ten schools that are known for basketball, like Illinois, Michigan, Purdue, not Michigan. Well, Michigan State is, but you're going to get some big name schools that haven't done anything that call him, that know that all they are is a coach away. They got the players. They have a crappy coach.
Yeah, like maybe he does it for like 1 or 2 seasons, but he's old. And if I'm him, go out on top. Have your last game be the one that you're holding the trophy.
Okay.
That's what I do.
That's not a bad idea.
Boom.
That's it.
So good job, son. I always say sir, so I had to switch it up.
Son, sir,
okay.
Boss.
Okay, so interesting thing with the Backstage Pass, we got a couple items. What I wanted to highlight, and it was actually on Facebook this week. We already knew about it ahead of time, but now we can eventually say it since they actually confirmed themselves. But in a couple weeks, we remember the tribute band, the Iron Maiden tribute band that I went to see and loved them. They're going to be in the studio with us.
Sweet.
So we will have.
I can talk about my brand new love for ACDs.
Yeah, I don't think. Iron Maiden. Yeah, I don't think we're going to get the full band, but we're getting the key members of the band, Eyes of the Nile. And so it's going to be pretty exciting. Andy from Creative Underground and Ben from K Street are also going to be here. So it's going to be one big party.
Awesome.
So that's going to be the week of the 19th, folks. So you won't want to miss that episode. Well, you don't want to miss any of them, but that's one that we can definitely highlight.
That's going to be a big one.
So
it's going to be a biggie.
It's definitely going to be fun. So then another thing that's going to be fun is, you know how I hate festivals. I
didn't know that.
Like music festival. Like I don't like.
Music festivals. I think you meant like the Ren Festival.
Another festival. Oh yeah, I do like the Ren Fest. That's okay.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
But like music festivals, and I've always talked about how they have these like the big highlighted bands, and then you have to sit through a bunch of crap just to get there.
Right.
So what happens is starting this week, the people who created Coachella announced that they're putting together a new festival called the Power Trip Festival in California. Okay. And they didn't announce, like the bands are actually being announced on Thursday this week. But Iron Maiden put out a little video on their web page highlighting the Power Trip Festival.
Nice.
Ozzy Osbourne did the same thing. AC/DC did the same thing, and I believe Metallica did the same thing. So to their fan bases, they kind of let a little subtle hint.
Right.
So the rumor is that the Power Trip Festival is going to be headlined. So there's multiple nights. So it's going to be headlined by Iron Maiden, Metallica, Ozzy, AC/DC, and possibly Guns N' Roses.
Whoa.
That's a perfect like if you could
that's
if you could hand pick a show.
Yeah.
This says,
because if you think about it, Ozzy you might never see again. He's already retired from touring.
Sorry, this says Metallica and Tool will close the festival.
It hasn't been announced
That's what
though.
This says.
Well, that's just rumor. Because Tool is on there. Tool is mentioned on there as well. But if you think about it this way, Ozzy is, and I'll be honest with you, Ozzy and AC/DC at this point don't sound good live. You're only going to see them because it's Ozzy and AC/DC. So know what you're getting when it comes to
nostalgia
that.
Factor, yeah.
But the fact is, this may be Ozzy's last show. He retired from touring, and he did say he would occasionally do a pop-up show, but the way people present Ozzy in every article makes it seem like he's on his deathbed. So legitimately, this could be his last performance. AC/DC is on the same thing. They don't have any tours coming up, so that's going to be huge. Iron Maiden is doing their Future Past tour in Europe and had no plans to be in America. And so it's kind of a weird thing because you don't know, are you going to get the Future Past tour?
Right.
Because if you do that, you have to get the whole stage, all that stuff flipped over to America, which costs a lot of money. So that could be a special show that you wouldn't get normally. Not to mention Metallica, when they do festivals, typically have a different set list than what they would do.
A shorter set list, right?
Well, no, they're headlining, so they'd get the regular time frame.
Oh, okay.
But what they do is they try to make it special from their normal touring show.
Got it.
So you're going to, if you go to this show, like granted, you're going to pay out the yin yang, but you're going to see
I was
like
going to say that's a
crazy
$1,000 ticket almost, right?
Oh, it has to be more. Like we don't know at this point, but it's got to be. It's got to be, because if you think about it, that's a dream. Like, when we growing up in the 80s or whatever, if you could handpick, the bands you want to see, you would have only added Billy Joel and Bare Naked Ladies to that same group. So
That would have been a very weird concert.
It would have been very weird. It's for a metalhead, it's a dream show. It doesn't get any better. It doesn't get any better. So it's extremely exciting. But you have to imagine globally how many people are going to go to that show. So
a lot.
I'm not going to be able to afford to go, but hopefully somebody streams it and I'll watch it on YouTube or something. But that is extremely exciting, and the world is abuzz about that. Okay, new releases this week. I'm not suggesting to go buy it, but it caught my attention. There's really nothing coming out this week that deserves attention. But what made me laugh was one of the highlighted albums was Rita Wilson, Tom Hanks's wife, has a duets album out that came out. And the funniest thing is I've seen this before, but I've never really mentioned it on the show. And all I can think about, what she does is she puts out these like albums for herself. She then does like this whole tour, like the Today Show and all this kind of stuff. And I'm thinking, all I can think about is how pissed off is Tom Hanks? Like, he's paying for it.
Yeah.
Because she has done nothing since the Volunteers. I think they met on Volunteers. And then ever since they've been married, she's been kind of dormant. Yeah. But she keeps putting out these little projects. And I'm like, this poor guy, like he's earning his money, he's doing his thing. And she is like, it's not cheap to make an album. And then
she's blowing his money.
She's blowing his money on her project, and it sucks. It can't be good.
No chance.
And he has to go, yes, honey, it's fantastic. He has to be her number one fan.
Ugh.
And I'm thinking, how pissed off would you like?
I would be very pissed off.
But you, as a husband, you don't have the heart to tell her it sucks and nobody's going to buy it, and you're wasting my money.
Yeah.
You can't have that conversation.
You cannot at all.
But when he's playing poker with his boys, he's
trashing her, being like, guys, I need to win this next hand. Rita's killing me.
It looks like she might want to do a double album next time.
Yeah.
I'm like, who is buying this? There's not one person on this earth.
Why can't he be honest with her and be like, babe, like, look, I'll take you to Hawaii. I'll take you to I am the Nile. Like, wherever you want to go.
I just don't get.
Like, I don't want to give you the money for an album because I'd rather us spend it lavishly.
Yeah, I'd be like, if you were good, there would be a record company paying for this.
Yeah, exactly.
I shouldn't have to stroke a check. Like I shouldn't have to do this.
What?
And so it makes me laugh because she does this like
it should be called Wasting Tom Hanks's Money.
Yes.
That's the name of the album.
I feel like every couple years she puts out an album, and I can't imagine anyone buying it. No one's buying it.
No.
And so
family and friends, you'll maybe sell like 5
I think
copies.
we need a Subfacts reaction video to a Rita Wilson song.
Oh my God, that would be so.
We probably
funny.
should, but the problem is no one is searching for Rita Wilson.
Would
we'll
beat,
get no.
What was the Luke Combs?
Luke Combs.
Like what was the other one? There was one that didn't get a lot. Tool
grew later on, so some of them. Tool didn't get much traction in the very beginning.
That was very like in the hundreds, and I'm like,
Pantera is one that didn't really grow. Even though there are people that were like, "Oh, you should listen to something." They've all been giving suggestions, but yeah,
our money's in the Japanese bands. That's all I'm saying.
Japanese bands and Iron Maiden, all of them are doing well for us. Oh, and Motorhead has some loyal people. Oh, my man Heath from New Zealand. What's up, dude? There's a punk rocker, old punk rocker. I say old because it was his birthday yesterday, and he said he was old. But from New Zealand, he subscribed to us. He's been writing back and forth.
Awesome.
And he liked our Fugazi.
Heath.
Yeah, he liked our Fugazi video. And so yeah, boom. What's up, Heath?
What's up, Heath?
New Zealand. We got a New Zealander.
I love it.
So anyway, that's pretty much all I think we have at this point. So
a big thanks again.
Oh, really? Administrative. Sorry, folks. Next week is spring break for a bunch of us, so we are not going to have a new episode, but we probably will have some reactions. So if you don't get a new episode, you can probably go to YouTube and see some of our reactions, but we will be back the following week. So
probably on Thursday that time. I think all our Thursdays are.
I think, Brian, did you say which one was a Wednesday that we had to do?
The 12th. Wednesday, April 12th.
Yeah, the following week. Yeah. Okay, so the week of the 12th, we'll be doing a Wednesday show. So if you're going to write into our show at subfactspodcast@gmail.com, make sure you do it before Wednesday. And I think just good practice would be to do it before Wednesday anyway.
Yeah.
That way it's guaranteed to make it in the week that we're doing the show.
Yep.
But yes, for Space Coast and all the other people, we are not going to have a show next week.
I put it on his Facebook, and I'm a little upset he didn't record something, but I wanted an official Space Coast Bill review of John Wick, and I didn't get it.
Oh, well, he did give us props. He gave us props on his Facebook.
Ryan, I know, but I want him to do a review. Like, I like his reviews.
Okay. Well, I'll reach out to him.
All right, cool.
He understands me. We have a thing. So, anyway.
All right. So, a big thank you to making our reaction videos what they are. That's the guy, Andy at Creative Underground, because all music, all tech support for Subfacts is provided by our friend Andy at Creative Underground. He runs a state-of-the-art production studio in our hometown of Leesburg, Virginia. You and me and everybody can find out more by going to his website, but it doesn't end there. He also does corporate events, weddings, concerts, pro karaoke, and he builds everything around your needs. So custom creation, like video needs, custom creation, audio.
Since we have a global audience, he actually does global work as well, obviously via Skype or conference call, but he's happy to help globally as well.
Perfect. And all you got to do is take that keyboard or take your phone and go www.creativeunderground.co,
not .com,
and say hello and tell them Subfacts sent you.
Boom. And up next, Eyes of the Nile, as we mentioned before, is actually courtesy of our boy Ben from KStreetPhotographyDC.com.
Thank you, Ben.
Not to mention, not to say that he isn't already like an award-winning photographer and everything, all things photography. He also is booking our show.
That's awesome.
He happened to know them, so I was like, boom, let's make things happen.
So local band agent.
Well, I think he took photos.
Oh, okay.
And so he had a connection, and he made the whole thing possible with the help of him and Brian. I got to give Brian credit too. Brian, I think Ben, teed it up, and then Brian hit it out of the park. Yeah. So I think that's kind of how it went. But anyway, thanks to Ben.
So Ben gave him the fishing pole, and then Brian's like, I got this.
Yeah. And so Ben's an award-winning image builder and FAA certified pilot of drones, specializing in business headshots, personalized business branding, imaging, corporate events, team imaging, all of the above. Once again, if you think pictures, think of Ben from KStreetPhotographyDC.com. I know BK does because I think they're going to be working together pretty soon.
As they should. And what a perfect time to do it. It is coming into April. As of March 23rd, I think it was, we're officially in spring.
Boom.
So like the weather's getting better. You're going to want the pimpest, best looking ride you can possibly have. And the only way to get that, folks, is by calling Big Dog Auto Detailing. The number is 571-233-8716. Talk with our boy BK, set up an appointment. He'll come to you. He'll make every vehicle you have look like new. Get the ceramic wax. It'll be worth it. And seriously, call him now because you got to get an appointment before he fills up.
Yes, I will say he is getting slammed. He told me today that it's RV season.
Oh,
so
RV,
literally, because anybody who's planning on
because
using
bands
RV,
are going to start being,
going through the summer, going through camping, all that good stuff. You want your RV to shine.
Yep.
And so there's nowhere to start other than with BK at Big Dog Auto Detailing.
Yep. Call him now, 571-233-8716, or you can hit him up on Facebook. Just tell him Subfacts sent you.
Boom. As far as we go, since there's a lot of new subscribers and all that kind of good stuff, if you want to learn anything about us, go to subfactspodcast.com. One thing we always like to highlight is our merch. So if you really like us and you want to get some merch,
get the merch.
Besides trying to see if he could date his cousin, my boy was actually looking at the merch and he goes, what are those pillows like? And I'm like, because we have Subfacts pillows.
Yes, we do.
And you can get them in different sizes. And so I was like, they're pretty dope. And if you want, I got a poster I can sign for you too, son. But yeah, you definitely check out our merch at subfactspodcast.com. If you want to write into the show, please write us at subfactspodcast@gmail.com.
Yep.
You can also leave the comments in the YouTube if you watch the show on YouTube, you're obviously leave comments.
Make sure to subscribe.
Yes. The key is subscribing, leaving comments, and
being a part of it.
Notifications too. It all obviously helps the algorithm and it helps us do what we do. And we can only make things better from here.
Yep.
But we need your support.
Only go up.
Boom. I think we've said it all.
We did.
I think we're good. I think we're good for this week. Once again, we're not going to be in next week, but we'll probably have some reactions.
That means it's going to be action-packed the week after.
Boom. Yes. So anyway, everybody stay safe, and we will see you next time.
Yep.